What is up, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Mooman11 here with an AD Tryndamere jungle guide. This preseason has brought loads of changes, from new items, monsters, and even complete champion reworks, but that also means League is more unbalanced than a feminazi land whale on a seesaw with a toddler, whose views on equality are honestly probably more accurate than the modern day third wave feminist, so getting in a fun and equally matched game seems more difficult than deciding who would win in an insult battle between Simon Cowell and Gordon Ramsay, and yeah, that was one sentence, fight me about it. That means the traditional champs we all know and love who might take some level of skill to play are now as obsolete as your parents' VHS player. This season it's all about Critical Strike. Seriously, there's more Critical Strike items than there are stars in the known universe. I actually counted. I'm just not that good at numbers. So what better champ to play than one whose passive is literally focused around Critical Strike? Oh, fuck off, Yasuo. Everyone hates you. Since Tryndamere's passive grants him additional Critical Strike with every basic attack, it builds up pretty fast. But why is Critical Strike so important, aside from the obvious?
Tons of damage.
Thanks, Freak, but as well as tons of damage, Critical Strike is crucial when it comes to the masteries we're going to be running on Tryndamere. With so many new and exciting masteries to choose from, it's hard to really decide which path will give me a competitive edge over my adversary. Just kidding, choose the one that freaking heals you and gives you additional attack speed every 2 seconds for critical striking an enemy champ. It's a no-brainer, just like literally every Teemo main ever. Now if the crit mastery came as a surprise to you, then boy are you in for a shocker on our rune page. Would you look at that, more critical strike? But a full crit rune page would just be unfair to the enemy team, so we're gonna jazz up this rune page with some lifesteal quints and attack speed glyphs. Now once you get into a game, grab yourself a hunter's machete and 3 health pots, not one of them crappy refillable flasks. And while you're at it, pick up a warding trinket and head on over to your second favorite rock group, the Krugs. Cause I mean, come on, everybody's most favorite rock group is Mount Rushmore. Now, when you're setting up in your jungle like Alex the Lion and Marty the Zebra from the critically acclaimed and Nobel Peace Prize winning documentary released in 2005 entitled Madagascar, it'd be a good idea to prepare a solid line of sight in case the enemy team decides to pull a Hitler and invade you. It doesn't happen often, but being well prepared in your jungle is something they will not see coming. And if they do stop by your jungle, your bot laners and yourself should be able to see them and put a Gestapo to their shenanigans pretty fast. I'm sorry. I can't concentrate with all these World War II jokes, so I'll just blitzkrieg on to the next part of the video. Before the Krugs spawn, let your teammates know that you just bought a large breed dog, so a pretty big leash would be helpful. Now as you start taking damage, you'll notice you're gaining attack damage. How cool is that? That's Trid's passive going to work for you. Now once you level up, put a point in your E. At this point you may be tempted to heal from your Q, but the additional AD and crit chance outweigh the benefit of a small amount of health. It'd be like if someone asked you, hey, you want to eat this cupcake I made for you? I mean, if you don't, that's okay. I'll just give you the recipe for my cupcakes, as well as 2 Ferraris, $1 million, and my firstborn child. Now, which one would you rather have? If you really think hard about it, you'll come to realize that with $1 million, you can buy, like, at least 4 cupcakes. So, long story short, don't heal from your Q. Instead, just smite red buff for more health and remember to use your potions. Now, if you've been paying attention, you've come to notice that I initiate each fight with Spinning Slash, and the chicken camp is no exception. Once you spin through the group, making sure to damage each chicken along the way, just auto each of the smaller nuggets once to kill them, then slice and dice the big dodo bird back to the early Cenozoic era. On your way over to the wolves, level up your Q once again for some additional attack damage. And when you're almost to the camp, you can save some time by spinning over the wall like a human Beyblade. Then smite the wolf to summon Navi, the fairy from The Legend of Zelda, to check if there are any enemies in your jungle.
Listen!
Next, head on—
Listen!
What the— Stop it.
Hey!
Oh my gosh, you stupid—
Hello?
I am going to murder— hey guys, I had to go take care of something. Anyway, finish fighting your top jungle and smite the big old froggy, then head to the river to check in on your good friend Scuttle. While you're chatting with Scuttle, make sure to ask him how his wife Sandra is doing after that terrible car accident 2 weeks ago left her paralyzed from the foot down and left her with crippling depression. When the conversation gets awkward because you just insensitively asked about a touchy subject, simply kill Scuttle, then politely excuse yourself so you can go back to base to order yourself a Stalker's Plate from Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime. 2-day shipping or your money back, plus a finger from the worker that messed up your order. Now that's a company with a slogan I can trust. Next, head on down to your bottom jungle and teach one of your Pokemon Hidden Move 6. Then use your newly acquired skill Rock Smash on the Krugs to unlock the next area and work your way back up to the chickens. Avoid direct eye contact with any trainers in the area, then blackmail a worker at Witness Protection until he gives you the new location of where Scuttle's hiding. After finishing the job correctly this time, you can choose one of 4 options. You can go mid lane, bot lane, continue on to your top jungle and farm, or uninstall League of Legends and get a life. But if you did that one, you'd have no reason to watch this video, so pick one of the first 3. If you go bot, make sure to focus the enemy ADC, and then die a little bit on the inside when your ADC secures the kill. Even though at this point you're probably seething with rage, be a good sport and save your douchebag ADC from the large scary Russian man wielding a freaking elevator door as shield and throwing bottles of frozen vodka at her. Then go celebrate your first kill of the game by partying with the Siberian wolves, then drop the Russian accent you've been using. As the jungler, it's your job to have good map awareness and inform your team of possible ganks. Without your expert pinging, your bot laners surely would have died, especially since teammates in solo queue are blinder than this Lee Sin. Now as you move out of the Siberian wasteland to go 1v1 quickscopes only Gromp on Rust, check in on your mid and top lanes to see if either of them are in need of some assistance. After doing some quick faker quality calculations, head top lane to get there around the time Gnar performs his Mighty Morphin powers and turns into Mega Gnar. After Riven gets softened up by a few turret shots, activate your W, press D to dance, and finish her off with an auto attack. And of course, thank Gnar for providing refreshments for her funeral. Next, go to the graveyard Scuttle was buried at, dig up his body, find Dr. Frankenstein to reanimate him, then kill him one more time, because Scuttle wins games. And I mean, now would be a good time to head back to the shop to buy, but there's some juicy jungle monsters just asking to be taken advantage of. So clear your top jungle again before recalling. Now once you're back at CVS, pick up a Devour, some Boots of Swiftness, and some Prescription Xifaxan for the enemy team because they're that crappy. Now it's at this stage of the game that it's fun to be the jungler, because you have so many options available to you. It's like being a white guy from a wealthy family. You can either choose to play Farmville in your jungle until you get sated, counter jungle to make the enemy jungler's life as miserable as a father whose 36-year-old single son comes out as a demi-queer bifox Conbroni, or help your team push their lane harder than a guy pushing on a door that says pull. A good jungler like you will soon be knows not to just pick one option, but to take whatever opportunity presents itself. For example, if you notice everyone in the bot lane is really low, head that direction until you can make a play, and thank your teammate for being great bait. Then go farm some more in your jungle to work on getting sated. For Tryndamere, I find getting sated takes a little longer than for other jungle champs, so shoot for 30 stacks by 20 minutes. As the game drags on like a zombie with its legs cut off, continue to pay attention to your lanes and position yourself accordingly. It's always fun to turn fair 2v2s into majorly unbalanced fights that result in free kills for your team. And now that you're starting to get more fed than a morbidly obese woman with type 2 diabetes, you can avenge your teammates with some tricky cutoffs and long drawn-out chase scenes like in every Fast and Furious movie. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. And don't forget, Scuttle wins games. Periodically stop by your local Walgreens to pick up more items on your way to your final build, which should include lots of critical strike items. I mean, who cares about armor when your ultimate literally makes you invincible for like 30 minutes? The only armor item you should get is a Guardian Angel, cause nothing says screw you enemy team quite like refusing to die for 5 seconds, dying, then coming back to life to wreak more havoc on their puny excuse for a 5-man. Now taking towers is very important, but don't underestimate the value of multiple dragon buffs. Although by mid-game you could easily take dragon by yourself, your team wants to show up and they brought friends. Switch objectives to taking down the enemy team and get yourself a nice double kill, then go back to dragon to get yourself some tasty buffs. And don't forget, Scuttle wins games. Now, Tryndamere's mechanics aren't too terribly hard to master, and with a little bit of practice and skill, you can dodge skill shots and even ultimates with the slightest of ease, all while looking like a total beast. Even the enemy cleanup crew can't handle your immense damage output. You're like if RoboCop and Terminator had a baby, then they genetically modified that baby to have super strength, then pumped you full of steroids and named you Tryndamere. The enemy team knew from the moment you connected that they'd surrender at 20, so before they do, grab yourself a Mega Scuttle and another kill, and enjoy that beautiful victory screen. Next time they play against you, we'll say, Tryndamere? Now that's a trend I fear. Well, there you go. There's your AD Tryndamere Jungle Guide.